Now, the legislation would set up a $2.5 billion grant fund that would pilot a lot of programs and would run from 2023 to 2027 and pay $1,200 monthly for adults and $600 for each child in the home. According to the proposed legislation, single filing adults with adjusted gross incomes of up to $75,000 and jointly filing adults with incomes of up to $150,000 will be eligible for this check. Folks, do you agree that this is necessary? And do you think that President Biden will send out more stimulus checks in the coming days? Tell me in the comments down below. We have a lot of good news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI payments. You don't want to miss out on this very important stimulus check information. Everybody, the GOP lawmakers in Congress are demanding that President Biden sign an executive order addressing the rising cost of living in the country. Republicans are worried about the future of the economy. If the Biden administration does not take action soon, a proposed spending plan would actually make stimulus checks go out to a more targeted group of people. So if the Biden administration does not take action soon, many more people are going to be suffering. Folks, we can see that more stimulus checks are definitely necessary. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments. So Republican Senator Mitt Romney of Utah has criticized President Biden's management of inflation. He torched the Biden administration's handling of the economy and inflation as Americans grapple with the worst price hikes in decades. Romney told the Wall Street Journal, President Biden has to ditch his advisors and surround himself with people who want to get the economy working again. Romney blamed the Biden administration for causing inflation, citing moves like oil and gas production limits. Last month, Romney suggested that he'd be cutting back retirement benefits without mentioning specifics for younger Americans as a way to rein in the national debt. But Romney has made it clear that many Americans do not need more financial aid. Mitt Romney recently announced a framework to provide greater financial security for American families by streamlining existing policies to create one universal child benefit. The Family Security Act would create a new national commitment to American families by modernizing antiquated federal policies into a monthly cash benefit, amounting to $350 a month for each young child. Romney's proposal would actually ensure that expecting parents receive the help they need to face expenses with preparing for a child, and low-income families would no longer have to choose between bigger paychecks or maintaining eligibility for support. Parents would be eligible to receive the cash benefit 4 months prior to their child's due date, and it would continue to be administered on a monthly basis. The plan would immediately lift nearly 3 million children out of poverty.
That, I was just about to walk away here.
Carlos.
Yes. With that, it is my distinct honor to introduce Senator Schumer, who was a champion in making sure that we preserve the child tax credit in the Senate. It is not an easy fight, and we so deeply appreciate you being able to take this to the finish line. So thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, Congressman Nadler, and our great friends from the IRS who are here to help us. This is really great news for New Yorkers. You know, when we delivered the checks, the $1,400 checks, people knew. But a lot of people don't know of the good news that's coming to the vast majority of New Yorkers. And just to repeat what the Congresswoman said, if you have a child 0 to 6, you will get $300 a month from now through December. If you have a child 6 to 17, you get $250 a month from now to December. For any single parent whose income is below $75,000, any couple any couple who makes below $150,000. So the large majority of New Yorkers, not the very wealthy, not the high end, but everybody else will get this. It does great things for our economy, pumping money into it. It does great things for families who have had to struggle with COVID. So many families have had to struggle. And most of all, and what we're so proud of, is it takes half the kids in New York out of poverty. This bill, the whole bill we passed, the ARP bill, if you were in the lowest 20% of income, with this child tax credit, you get a 20% increase in income, which is huge. Guess how much you get if you're in the top 1%? I'm going to copy you. Nada. Nothing. That's about it. Although I did hear her say IRS in her speech, so I knew what that was. But in any case, my remarks are so funny, Angelo was dropping his phone. If you're a child born into poverty, you start off, you don't get proper food oftentimes, you don't get proper shelter, you don't get proper housing, you don't get proper education. You're 14, 15, 16, you're in a deep ditch. Now, many of these kids, to their credit, climb out on their own, but many cannot. This is going to help. And one of our goals in the upcoming Build Back Better plan is to extend this way beyond December 31st. Many of us would like to make it permanent, but we're going to extend it. It will be extended for sure, for a very significant amount of time, and we'll see if we can get the permanence that we are fighting for. So this is very, very important for everybody. And I just want to repeat, because it's important. If you regularly file taxes, and you filed your 2020 taxes, you're going to get the money. And by the way, what we arranged to do is have it come in monthly payments. Originally, it was going to be a check at the end of the year, but if you're a family in poverty struggling to pay the rent or put food on the table, you can't wait till the end of the year.
Here is the breaking news with the fourth stimulus check that you definitely want to know. For those of you that reside in the state of Virginia, well, taxpayers in Virginia will likely get some money back this year. The General Assembly is expected to approve one-time rebates to eligible state income tax filers, but lawmakers are still debating how much. Unlike some tax policy proposals, the campaign promise from the governor has won broad, bipartisan support. The governor also proposed his own version of the plan with a smaller price tag. State officials have said, "We want to have the largest tax rebate in the history of Virginia." Now, other representatives in the state is also carrying the version of the bill supported by the governor. It will pay individuals up to $300 and married couples up to $600. A more modest Senate plan features the amount proposed by the governor at $250 maximum for individuals and $500 for married couples. Now, progressives, everybody, are hoping to turn up the heat on Chuck Schumer in an effort to push climate action across the congressional finish line. Negotiations on the Build Back Better bill and Biden's climate and spending package have been going on since late last year, after Manchin has expressed concerns with President Biden's plan. But progressive groups are now amping up the pressure. They see Manchin's comments in recent weeks as signaling an openness to spending on climate issues and are pushing leadership to bring the issue to the forefront. In his own words, Chuck Schumer promised the Senate will forcefully, insistently, and urgently address climate as the greatest threat to our country. But according to some progressive lawmakers, after more than a year of Democratic control in Washington, he has yet to deliver. Manchin said earlier this month that a scaled-down bill would include spending priorities for Democrats, including climate change. But Schumer recently renewed his push for the social and climate spending agenda, which would need to pass the Senate with a simple majority. The letter signed by Democrats, everybody, included 6 committee chairs. They united both centrists and progressives and is seeking to officially restart the negotiations on President Biden's Build Back Better agenda. Will it get done this year, everybody? Tell me in the comments down below.
Good afternoon. On this 21st day in the month of March, I stand here representing the 13,000 amazing students of St. Landry Parish. The year of 2020 introduced us to a pandemic, and it was a roller coaster ride. Our parish decided on virtual learning and handed out Chromebooks and hotspots to all kids. The execution of virtual